One pill. One scream. One night I'll never forget. I opened the wrong door, and now I can't close it. The first scream came at 2:17 a.m. Sharp, guttural, inhuman. Then the lights cut out. And when they came back, my hands were covered in blood. I didn't know whose. Not yet. But I knew the house I woke up in wasn't mine. And the woman on the floor wasn't supposed to be there. None of it was supposed to happen. All I did was go to the party. All I did was say yes, once. And now? Now I can't take any of it back. Because that one night didn't just ruin my life. It rewrote it. The night it all went wrong. They say you don't remember the best nights of your life. But what about the ones that destroy you? I remember everything. Every glass. Every laugh. Every word I wish I could unsay. My name's Brandon Hale. I'm 27. Born and raised in Indianapolis. I used to be a financial analyst for a logistics firm downtown. Straight edge. Played it safe. Drove a silver Accord. I wasn't boring. I was stable. The guy parents wanted their daughter to date. The guy that never made waves. Until the night I did. It started with a text from my best friend, Marcus. Yo, party tonight. Big one. East Side. You in? I stared at my phone. I was 2 weeks out from a massive client pitch. Already running on Red Bull and stress. I should have said no. But then my phone buzzed again. Aubrey's gonna be there. That changed things. Aubrey Peterson. My college crush. The girl I almost kissed sophomore year, but never had the guts to. She was fire and thunder wrapped in confidence. And tonight? She was asking about me. I hadn't seen her in 4 years. So I said yes. That one word? It ended everything. We showed up around 9. Big house. Gated driveway. Expensive. Way too nice for anyone under 30. Marcus said it belonged to some guy named Rafe. I didn't know him. Nobody really did. He just threw parties. Massive ones. No one knew what he did. No one asked. Red flag? Maybe. But I didn't care. Because when I walked in, Aubrey was already there. And she smiled like she meant it. The first few hours were a blur in the good way. Drinks. Music. Shots. Stories. Aubrey and I talked like we hadn't missed a day. She laughed at my jokes. Touched my arm. Said I grew up good. I thought, just for a second, this could be it. Maybe the universe was finally throwing me a bone. I had no idea what the universe was actually about to throw at me. Because at 12:34 a.m., Rafe walked in. And everything changed. He was tall. Blonde. Expensive watch. Barefoot for some reason. People parted when he passed. Not out of fear, out of curiosity. He didn't speak much. Just watched. Then he pulled out a little black box and set it on the table. No label. No instructions. Just a whisper. Only if you're ready to see everything. People laughed. Nervous. Confused. But Aubrey? She stepped forward first. Rafe opened the box. Inside, a single capsule. Deep blue. Shimmered under the lights like oil and mercury. He handed it to her. She swallowed it without flinching. And smiled like she just remembered something beautiful. I should have left. I should have grabbed my keys, dragged Marcus with me, and left that house behind forever. But instead, I stayed. Because 10 minutes later, Aubrey came back to me. Eyes wide, breathing fast. And she whispered, "You have to try it. It shows you things. Real things. Stuff you forgot you knew." And then she kissed me, right there in the hallway. Like we were the only 2 people in the world. And when she pulled back, she said, "Come with me." So I did. Because I was 27, in love with the idea of her, high on dopamine, and stupid enough to believe one pill couldn't break me. The moment I swallowed it, everything turned. Colors bled. Sounds stretched. Time warped. I remember walking. Then running. Then darkness. The next thing I remember? A scream. 2:17 a.m. Loud. Raw. Ripped from someone's soul. Then the lights went out. Not just flickered. Went out. The entire house plunged into shadow. I heard shuffling. Glass breaking. People yelling. Then silence. Like someone hit mute on the world. When the lights snapped back on, I was alone. Standing in a hallway I didn't recognize. My shirt was wet. I looked down. Blood. Everywhere. Hands. Sleeves. Neckline. I stumbled into a bathroom. Turned on the faucet. Washed. Scrubbed. Panicked. What the hell happened? I didn't remember violence. I didn't remember anything after the kiss. Just a black hole in my mind where the rest of the night should be. Until I opened the guest bedroom door. And saw her. Aubrey. on the floor, unmoving, eyes open, blank. I dropped to my knees, shook her, begged, screamed, but there was no response. She wasn't breathing, and that's when I realized. The blood on me? It wasn't mine. It was hers. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Voices. Someone yelled, "He's in here." I turned and saw Rafe at the end of the hall, smiling, like he'd been waiting for this moment. I ran, through the back, over the fence, into the woods. Didn't stop until I hit the highway, my hands still shaking, my breath like glass. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. I just kept seeing her face, hearing that scream, feeling that weight of blood on my skin. And the worst part? I couldn't remember if I'd done it. I didn't know what the pill showed me. I didn't know if I was guilty, but I knew one thing for sure. My life ended in that house, and whoever Rafe was, he wasn't finished with me. They found her body. They didn't find me, but somehow everyone knew I was there. Marcus called me 3 days after the party. I picked up using a burner I bought with cash at a gas station 2 towns over. "Brandon," he whispered, "where the hell did you go? You were still there when the cops showed up. You were covered in blood, screaming about things that didn't exist." Then Rafe said he'd handle it. Next thing, you vanished. I hung up, because that confirmed it. I didn't run. I was removed. I searched Rafe's name. No socials. No records. Only one hit. An old blog. One post. He offers you a truth so sharp it cuts reality apart. The people who take the pill don't vanish. They get rewritten. I started hearing things. TV static when everything was off. My own voice whispering from places I hadn't been. And in a dream, Aubrey spoke. "Check your jacket." I woke up at 3:46 a.m. Found the jacket. Inside the lining, a micro SD card. No label. No reason it should be there. But it was. I took it to the only person who'd believe I wasn't crazy. Emily, my ex-hacker. She plugged it in. One file. Timestamp 2:14 a.m. We watched. Me and Aubrey. Laughing. Talking. I hand her a second pill. She says no. I insist. She slaps it away. The room flashes. A pulse of white static. Then, her eyes start bleeding. No wounds. Just bleeding. She crumples. I scream. It's not her. It's not her. Then the video cuts. Emily looked at me like I was a monster. But I wasn't sure she was wrong, because I still didn't remember it. But I felt it. Something inside me had changed. Something had come through. After Emily kicked me out, I drove for hours. No destination. No plan. Just white-knuckled fear and the cold shape of the pill still tucked in my jacket. The same deep blue capsule I remembered taking. The same one that had somehow ended with Aubrey on the floor. Dead. Maybe. I didn't sleep. Couldn't eat. My mind raced in loops I couldn't control. That video Emily played, it wasn't just disturbing. It was impossible. Aubrey's eyes bleeding. My voice screaming. It's not her. And then that flash of light. Like a power surge in the room. Like something opened. I had no memory of that moment. But something inside me recognized it. Like a scar I couldn't see but still felt. I needed answers. So I went back to the house. Or tried to. I pulled up to the same street where Rafe's house stood just nights ago and found an empty lot. No house. No driveway. Just a rusted chain-link fence and a rotted mailbox half swallowed by weeds. I crossed the street and asked a neighbor, an older man in a tattered bathrobe watering dead grass. He squinted at me, then glanced across the road. That place burned down in '93. Teenagers messing around. One girl never made it out. I swallowed hard. What was her name? He looked right at me. Aubrey. Her face in the yearbook photo at the city archives hit like a fist. It was her. Same eyes. Same curve of the jaw. A little younger. A little softer. But her. Except this girl was dead for 30 years. How did I meet her? Kiss her? Watch her die all over again? I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she used a fake name. Maybe it was someone else who looked like her. Maybe the trauma was messing with my brain. But then I found the second pill. Same color. Same shimmer. In my jacket pocket. And a message waiting on my burner phone from a number I didn't recognize. You weren't supposed to survive the transition. The second pill finishes what we started. Attached was a photo of me, sleeping in my car, taken from the outside, but in the reflection of the windshield, standing just behind the glass. Aubrey, smiling, eyes bleeding again, and next to her, Rafe. I should have thrown the pill out the window. I should have buried it, crushed it, flushed it. something. But instead, I just stared at it. Small, perfect, cold in my palm. The second one, the one they said would finish what we started, whatever that meant. I checked out of the motel at 3:15 a.m., shaking, hungry, twitching from sleep deprivation. Drove until sunrise, not really seeing the road. Everywhere I went, I felt watched. Not followed, watched. Not from people, from surfaces. Mirrors, windows, water. The reflections lingered a second too long. Smiled before I did. Tilted their heads the wrong way. I pulled into a rest stop in Ohio, locked myself in a single-stall bathroom, and stared at the capsule again. I don't know why I did it. Curiosity? Desperation? Stupidity? But I held it under my tongue. And I waited. Nothing. No pulse of light. No static. No visions. No screams. No blood. Just silence. Then my reflection in the mirror tilted its head. But I didn't. It spoke. Not out loud. Not in sound. But in my head. My bones. My blood. You opened the first door. You were supposed to forget. But you remembered. You aren't Brandon anymore. I spat the pill into the sink. My nose was bleeding. Worse? The mirror didn't go back to normal. I watched myself raise a hand. The reflection didn't move. It just watched me, like I was the stranger. I ran, out of the bathroom, back into my car. Tried to drive, but I didn't get far. The lights on the dashboard flickered. Every station on the radio played static. And then my voice. Over the static. Turn around. I swerved off the road and nearly hit a tree. Parked in a ditch. Breathing like I'd just outrun death. And maybe I had. Or maybe I hadn't gotten far enough. That night, I got another message. Blocked number. One sentence. You're not the only one who remembers. Attached, a location pin. I tapped it. It was the burned-out foundation of Rafe's house. At exactly 2:17 a.m., I arrived. It was silent. Still. No wind. No bugs. No life. Just the cracked remains of what used to be the floor. I stood in the center. And I waited. Then footsteps. Behind me. I turned slowly. A figure stepped out of the trees. Not Rafe. Not Aubrey. Me. But older. Worn. Paler. And smiling. I told you not to take the second pill, he said. He stepped out from behind the trees like a ghost wearing my skin. Same jawline. Same slouched shoulders. Same scar just above the right brow. But this version of me moved like he'd lived 100 years in silence. He wasn't startled. He wasn't confused. He was waiting for me. Took you long enough. His voice was mine, but flatter. Like it had been hollowed out and stitched back together with threads soaked in regret. Who are you? I asked, even though I already knew. I'm what's left of you. Version 4. You? You're 5. I should have run. Screamed. Fainted. Something. But I didn't. Because somewhere deep in my bones, I already believed him. And maybe worse, I remembered being him. He tossed something at my feet. A photograph. The paper was cracked with age, edges burned. But the image was clear. 5 of us, 5 me's, standing in front of the same house that no longer exists. The Rafe house. Fully intact. Sunlight in the windows. Warm. Alive. Each version had a slightly different look. Shorter hair. Longer coat. A beard. One missing a tooth. But all of them, us, had the same expression. A kind of grim, exhausted terror. And in the far left corner, a blurry figure in the window. Watching. They reset the world every time we get too close, for said. But fragments stick. Memories. Nightmares. Blood on our hands. The face in the mirror that doesn't move when we do. That pill wasn't just a drug, he said. It was a key. To what? He smiled. Cold. Final. To the door we weren't supposed to open. I asked about Aubrey. He didn't flinch. There's no Aubrey. Not anymore. She's a shape the system wears. A perfect failure point. She's the moment we break. The scream. The blood. The grief. That's the exact second the loop resets. The software rewrites us. Dumps us back in some new body with scrambled memories and fresh guilt. I shook my head. You're saying we're in a simulation? He laughed. No. Worse. We're in a farm. They grow trauma. Harvest consciousness. Feed on versions of us who wake up just enough to scream before they're swallowed. You're the first to make it this far without folding. He reached into his coat and pulled out a black object. Smooth. Cold. Carved with glowing lines that shifted in shape when I looked too hard. This is the kill switch. Final exit. End of program. Last breath. but only one version can trigger it. I didn't want to understand. What are you saying? He looked right at me, eyes hollow and alive all at once. It ends with one of us. Then I heard it. A click behind me. I turned too late. Another version, me again, stepped from the shadows. Gun raised. Eyes wide. Tears streaming. You're not supposed to exist, he whispered. You're not even real. He fired. The bullet missed. Version 4 disappeared before it hit the ground. Gone. Erased. Like he was never there. All that remained was the kill switch and the photograph, now burned at the edges, the faces distorting and melting away. All but one. Mine. And it was smiling. I picked up the kill switch. It pulsed against my skin like a heartbeat. And I knew. Everything I'd seen. Everything I'd felt. Everything they'd taken now. It all led here. To this choice. To the final door. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared into my reflection until my own face stopped blinking again. Until it whispered. One of you makes it out. 1. I drove for hours without knowing where I was going. The kill switch burned cold in my pocket. Not literally, but it felt alive. Every time I looked at it, the lines on its surface shifted. Not random. Not decorative. Responsive. Like it was waiting for me to make a decision. Like it already knew what I'd choose. At 2:17 a.m., the static returned. The same time as the scream from the party. Same as the night I woke up covered in blood. But this time, it wasn't sound. It was language. Carved into the air. Into my thoughts. Final loop initiated. Host recognition matched. Brandon Hale V5. Conflict remains. Begin resolution? I whispered into the silence. Begin what? No answer. Just a pulse from the kill switch, syncing with my heart. I went back to where it all began. The lot where Rafe's house once stood. Empty, dead soil. Silent. Until I stepped into the middle. The ground hummed. The air bent. And the door appeared. Not a real door. Something shaped like a door. Tall, black, reflective like glass, but deeper than space. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Not one pair. 3. I turned. And saw them. Me. 3 more versions. Older. Feral. Hollow-eyed. Wearing fragments of lives I hadn't lived yet. Each one holding something. A gun. A blade. A pill. You're the last, one of them rasped. The only one left with a choice. You pressed the switch, another said, voice trembling, and you end us all. You don't. The third one whispered, stepping closer, and you become the next ghost in the loop. The next trap. My hand shook. What's on the other side of the door? They looked at each other. Then back at me. The truth. Or nothing. Or worse. The kill switch pulsed again. Then, words appeared on the glass door in crimson letters. Only one may pass. Choose. My voice cracked. What happens if I don't choose? The third version of me laughed, wild and broken. Then you start over. Blood. Aubrey. Screams. Pills. Again and again and again. I stepped forward. Raised the switch. The other versions tensed. You sure you're the real one? One asked, smiling. We all thought we were. I stared at them. Then at the door. Then at the switch. I remembered the scream. The kiss. The second pill. The bleeding eyes. The reflection that smiled first. And I said it. I'm not the first. I'm just the one who made it to the end. Then I pressed it. Light exploded. But not white. Not yellow. Not fire. Memory. Every loop. Every version. Every death. Every truth they buried to keep us compliant. And her, Aubrey, standing not as a girl, but as the final shape. The program's anchor. The perfect face of betrayal. I saw her shift. Into my mother. My reflection. My fear. Then it stopped. Silence. Darkness. Stillness. I opened my eyes. In my bed. In my apartment. Morning sunlight poured through the blinds. Phone on the charger. Inbox full. Life normal. Had I dreamed it all? My mind screamed yes. But my pocket said no. Because when I reached in, the kill switch was still there. Still cold. Still breathing. And then my phone lit up. No caller ID. I answered. The voice? Mine. This version's stable for now. But the loop never ends. Not really. Because the last version of us. He never wanted to leave. Click. And then I heard it again. That scream. From somewhere inside the walls. The end.